Welcome to my presentation. In this presentation, let us see how we can add two vectors. Let us say we have an example of this type. Let's say we have a vector u which has components 4, 3, and we have a vector v which has components -4, 3. Okay, and we want to find vector u plus vector v. So the way to do that is as follows. We will first add these two vectors to see what we get, vector u plus vector v. So the way to do that is we write the components down first. 4, 3 are the components of vector u, and then plus -4, 3 are the components of vector v. So when we add these two, we're going to write them out in this manner. In here, the vector u has 4, -3, and then the vector v has components -4, 3. And when we add these two, this is the way it's going to result: 4, -3 plus -4, 3. So when we add these two vectors, the way we do that is as follows, isn't it? 4, we take the first component of the first vector and then add it to the first component of the second vector, which is -4, we take the second component of the first vector, which is -3, and add it to the second component of the second vector, which is +3. And when we combine them, 4 minus 4 is 0, -3 plus 3 is 0. So we result with a 0 vector. We come up with a 0 vector. And now what? How do we graph this type of a situation? So the way to do that is as follows. Let us go and then graph this, and then in here let us put some points on the x and y axis, and then we'll see how we can represent this. This is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and then -1, -2, -3, -4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is -1, -2, -3, -4. This is positive x-axis, negative x-axis, positive y-axis, and then negative y-axis. And then the first vector u can be represented as 4, 4 on the positive x-axis, and then -3 on the negative y-axis. So we're going to travel 1, 2, 3 points. So that is our point. This is 4, -3. And from the origin, this is the origin, we're going to draw a straight line, and that is our vector. This is our vector u. And then we need to represent vector v, which is -4, 3. -4 is we're going to travel -4 units on the negative x-axis and then 3 units on the positive y-axis. So when we do that, we're going to go -4 units on the negative x-axis, 1, 2, 3 on the positive y-axis. So we're going to travel up that way. And now we're going to draw a straight line here. Therefore, this is our vector v, and the components of this vector v are -4, 3. And the sum of these two vectors is 0, 0. That means the vector is passing through the origin, and therefore this point here is vector u plus vector v. So the vector u and vector u plus vector v is equal to 0, 0. So that means the sum of those two vectors is passing through the origin. So it's a 0 vector, but it is passing. That means it is passing through the origin. This is the way we want to use the properties of vectors to simplify example problems of this nature. In my next presentation, we shall look at some more examples related to vectors.